Keith Fitz with us this morning. Picking out one particular stock, you say that Palantir is a critical element in our national defense. Well, currently $22 a share. Why is it so important, and where do you think the stock's going?
Great question. Super appropriate for this morning. Thank you for asking. So Palantir is critical to defense because it helps with targeting, helps with logistics, helps with decision making. It integrates so many different data points that conventional sequence-oriented computing can't. So to me, this is a stock that should be $50. I've been talking about it for a little while. It's taken a little bit to get its footing, but we're about there, and I think it's totally underestimated.
In another groundbreaking partnership, Palantir has once again proven that it is ready to take over the AI software industry. In addition to winning the inaugural U.S. National Science Foundation Regional Innovation Engines grant, this firm has once again bagged an interesting deal with one of Asia's biggest companies. Today, we're going to explore this new and interesting partnership for Palantir, focusing on how this data analytics company plans to provide vital services that could transform the world. But before we get into that, if you want to keep up with Palantir's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times a day about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market, so click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates. Now, back to today's video.
Welcome back to Trading 360. I'm Caroline Woods. It's time for the big three stocks, 3 charts, 3 trades. Ben Lichtenstein will take us through the charts. And here to take us through the trades is Mike Shore, Director of Trading Education at Prosper Trading Academy. Ben, Mike, so good to have you both here with us. Mike, let's start with you, and let's start big picture before we get into your actual trades. I'm curious about your thoughts on this market. Seeing some green arrows after last week's sell-off, but they don't have a whole lot of conviction. What's your take?
Yeah, it's along those lines. So I think we're waiting to get into kind of the teeth of earnings. We've seen some earnings from the banks, but we're going to want to see some of the things that have driven this market up in order to convince this market that we're actually going to that next leg. And we have a lot of stuff out there with inflation, with what's happened over in the Middle East over the weekend and everything like that. And so things are still kind of strong, but I am kind of in a fade and see type of movement. I think that just buying highs and highs and highs, I think is a little bit dangerous here.
Palantir has recently announced that it signed a deal to expand its partnership with South Korea's Hyundai Heavy Industries Group, which is one of the world's largest shipbuilding conglomerates. According to the data analytics company, this deal is part of a previous agreement between the two companies, which was meant to digitalize South Korea's shipbuilders. That deal was valued at around $20 million in 2022 and expected to run for over 5 years. The deal is also in addition to existing agreements with the conglomerate's refinery affiliate Hyundai Oilbank and construction machinery maker Hyundai Doosan Infracore, expanding Palantir's footprint in South Korea. According to Palantir's Chief Operating Officer, Shyam Sankar, the firm's shipbuilding affiliates, including Hyundai Heavy, will use Palantir's operating system, known as Foundry, to strengthen data-driven decision-making and also improve their operations. In today's video, we're going to explore this new partnership and also analyze the possibility of Palantir expanding further into the Asian market. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Investocracy.
So I wonder how you see this as a major investor in all of this stuff, the fact that there are Chinese companies right now trading on our exchanges that are tied to the Chinese military. What does that mean? That means American investors are funding the expansion of our #1 enemy adversary by buying those companies.
It's not a good situation, Maria. Listen, I think a lot of people who are good people want to work with the talent in China, and that seemed like a good thing to do. Now that it's become clear they're our adversary, now that it's become clear that they're working against our interests, we have to change up the rules. We have to stop engaging with them in the same way.
You know, I wish the Pentagon understood the investment angle the way that you do, frankly. I mean, tell me about the opportunities. Is it drone technology, AI? Where specifically do you want to allocate capital?
Well, drones are a big thing. There's the war in Ukraine, as we're watching. both sides making hundreds of thousands of drones to send at each other, and there's a lot of new anti-drone possibilities as well. So you have a new prime emerging called Anduril, right, which is a really important company doing lots of things there. There's also a really...
And I love him who runs the company
Palmer,
as well.
he's a great guy.
Palmer,
We're back to an Oculus early on, too.
I know you did.
And he started that with a few of our Palantir guys. Palantir is obviously doing key work here. You know, the anti-drone stuff that's really cool, it turns out you could shoot electronic weapons, basically, EMP pulses, and turn off drones very far away. I shouldn't say how far on TV, but there's really cool kind of counter-drone technology being created back and forth, and it's really important we research and deploy this stuff with the best technologists. We did a new company, Maria. They spent billions of dollars on this in the Pentagon. Our new company shot down the drones 10 times farther away using modern technology. That's scary. We shouldn't be able to beat the primes by 10x, but guess what? We can right now because they're not using the best engineers.
Palantir is no doubt a complex platform. However, its core mission is simple: to empower users to extract meaning from the ever-growing sea of information. And so, by providing the tools to analyze and connect vast datasets, this data analytics firm can help organizations make better decisions, solve complex problems, and ultimately achieve their goals. Palantir has been expanding aggressively, first in the United States, its Western allies, and now in Asia. The data company is actively working to extend partnerships with countries like South Korea, both with the government as well as private sectors. It is also building its business in Japan and Singapore, and according to its chief operating officer, Palantir will keep expanding so much that in 5 years, its Asia portion will grow to be a large part of the firm. Right now, the United States takes up about 60% of Palantir's sales, with Asia being part of the remaining 40%. However, as the data company seeks to expand in this region, it won't be surprising if this number increases significantly over time. But how will this happen? Let's find out. Before we continue, if you like this type of content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay up to date on everything happening with Palantir. That said, back to the video. So, what exactly is this new deal with Hyundai about? Well, Palantir is helping Hyundai's maritime arm build unmanned surface vessels, or USVs, that can conduct reconnaissance for the world's navies. Hyundai had said that previously developed USVs were difficult to operate in rough environments, such as high waves, and had limitations that did not meet the mission performance capabilities of manned ships. That's why, through this agreement, the goal of both companies is to develop a differentiated model by combining accumulated autonomous navigation technology with cutting-edge defense AI. In simpler words, Palantir is helping Hyundai build automated Navy ships. You might be thinking that this tech seems too futuristic, but robotic boats are already employed for tasks, including removing trash from Vietnam's Mekong Delta and monitoring underwater volcanoes. The two companies plan to combine autonomous navigation software from Hyundai subsidiary Avicus and Palantir. Meanwhile, HD Hyundai Heavy Industries will be in charge of integrating the hardware and software and developing the whole. Looking forward, HD Hyundai and Palantir want to optimize their USV model for both the American and Korean markets and develop an AI-powered platform to manage the vessels. But it was not specified whether that AI platform would make a remote operator redundant. Hyundai called the venture a game changer in future naval warfare and also said that it'd work with Palantir to develop combat drone boats, but that will come later.
All right, an important story on China's reluctance to take U.S. technology. Renita Young, tell us about it.
Well, in the latest installment of the U.S.-China tech war, China has told its large telecom companies to stop or to phase out foreign chips. This is a direct hit, some say, on AMD and Intel. Officials ordered mobile operators to inspect their networks for non-Chinese semiconductors and then draft timelines to replace them.
Wow.
Of course, this is part of China's larger efforts to replace Western technology, and even the Chinese president started to stress these requirements for more self-reliance in tech. And then Chinese telecom carriers are going to more domestic alternatives as a result. He wants them to do that. But the interesting thing about all this, Oliver, is that the Chinese or the domestic alternatives were not up to par, which is why they used alternatives outside of the country. And now they say quality has improved in these domestic alternatives and the performance is even more stable. And so, like I said, it could be a hit to AMD and Intel. China was Intel's largest market last year, brought in about 27% of revenue, and then it was AMD's third largest market last year, bringing in about 15% of its revenue at that time. So it could be a sizable hit to either company.
Yeah, I think so. Right now we're seeing some pretty material downside in these stocks. Intel now fully kind of reversing lower in trend, and AMD threatening to break some support. So it's a kind of a tense session for the chip makers.
Security is a major concern when dealing with sensitive information, so Palantir takes a multi-layered approach to data security. By using access controls, the company ensures that only authorized users can see specific data, while encryption safeguards the information itself. Its Foundry platform also keeps a detailed record of all data activity, allowing administrators to track how information is being used. Now, the big question is, how can Palantir expand further into the Asian market? Asia is experiencing a digital revolution. Oppenheimer recently released a note that said that demand for AI in Asia will jump over 40% this year. But that's not all, because countries like China, India, and South Korea are witnessing a surge in internet penetration, mobile phone usage, and digital transactions. And this translates to a massive amount of data being generated every day. Similarly, Asian businesses and governments are also struggling to make sense of this data set, which is where Palantir's Foundry platform comes in. Just like its digital revolution, economic growth across Asia is also fueling a demand for improved efficiency and innovation. Companies are looking for ways to optimize their supply chains, identify new market opportunities, and gain a competitive edge, and Palantir's platform can be a valuable tool for businesses seeking to extract insights from their data to inform strategic decision-making. Also, based on Palantir's experience working with government agencies, the firm is a good natural fit for countries looking to leverage data analytics for defense, law enforcement, and border security purposes, and Asia has countries like this. Foundry's ability to connect disparate data sources like intelligence reports, financial records, and geospatial data can also be a powerful tool for investigators and analysts working on complex cases. However, while Palantir has the potential to succeed in Asia, it is also noteworthy that Asia is a complex market with varying levels of technological infrastructure and data privacy regulations. This means that Palantir will need to adopt specific strategies to navigate these differences, and we're going to explore some of them in just a moment.
Thanks for that reminder. Let's talk about your third and final trade. That's Palantir, also down about 1% today, but up big year to date, up about 30%. Are you skeptical in the short term on this one as well, given the run up?
No, actually, this was one that I threw in for the geopolitical stuff that people might be looking for, a defensive stock. And usually when you think defensive stock, you think oil, gold, treasuries, or things like that. Flight to quality, or something like a Raytheon, or one of the big defense contractors. So this one is one that it doesn't look great on the chart, but what it does do a lot of things fundamentally that should do well if things get crazy in the geopolitical world. AI and a lot of government contracts and a relatively low valuation. We're at the bottom of this kind of consolidation, the Dantian channel, we call it. And so it has room to run to the upside.
All right. So, Ben, Mike's not too bullish on the technicals, but definitely more bullish on the fundamentals here. But walk us through the technicals in terms of what you're seeing in the chart for Palantir.
Yeah, I like favoring the longs here as well. I mean, this is another example, as Mike just mentioned, testing the lower extreme of range that we've been in. If this a lower extreme retest fails, and ultimately we'll be looking for some momentum in the direction of the trend that we have seen in the longer term, which has also been to the upside. So let's just break it down, starting out with a 4-hour candle chart. And just looking at the two phases of development, really identifying them, because Mike brought up a good point a minute ago in terms of time frames, right? Depending on which time frame you're looking at, even in this sideways consolidation, there's opportunity for both the bulls and the bears as you see that random type phase of price development transition into the high conviction vertical phase, and then you get that new area of value that's formed at a higher level, recently topping out around 27.50. That was back in March, and you can see for the most part we are sideways. Now, Mike mentioned again that we're kind of testing the lower extreme of the range that we've been forming. I want to just show you that I've got two areas of consolidation. They're easily identifiable here, established for us to look at. Again, we're talking about a 4-hour candle chart, but take a look. 17 and 24. But as I look at this, and I just want to show you how even within this pattern, you can see it playing out multiple times again. So this is a very high frequency pattern that plays out right now, communicating bullishness here as values moving higher. So let's take a step back, move away from a 4-hour candle chart and add a little time on. Daily candles now going all the way back to when the stock was trading around $6 back in 2023, balanced around $7.50. You can see again that vertical phase come into place, sideways consolidation around 17, wash, rinse, repeat, currently bouncing around 25. Again, testing the lower extreme of that range. Hey, take out 25, you open up a door for a retest of those recent highs of around 27.28. This is a high conviction bull trend that we're seeing to the upside here, and acceptance of this upper level as of right now is what's being established. The one thing that has me a little concerned about here is just the sideways consolidation here has us now dipping a bit down below this 50-day moving average. RSI has been rolling over a bit. We've been seeing a series of lower highs. But yeah, in this one, again, it does look to me like the longer-term bulls are being rewarded. Test of a lower extreme right now I should say, will hold.
All right, so Mike, not necessarily benefiting from the geopolitical turmoil from over the weekend with Iran and Israel. Shares down about 1.1% right now, but walk us through the trade for this one.
So I'm looking at just, again, next week, so April 26th, 23-24 half call spread. I mean, this is a cheap play. That's another reason why I put it together that, you know, a lot of these defensive stocks are in the multiple hundreds of dollars, that you have a lower nominal value to this stuff. So $1.50 wide call spread, you should be able to buy that for about 25 to 30 cents. So you're looking at anywhere from, 2.85 to 3 to 1 on something like this. If things, this is a continuation or an escalation of things over in the Middle East that this probably does well on.
All right, we'll leave it there. Mike Shore, Prosper Trading Academy, and Ben Lichtenstein, thank you both so much.
Like any new market, Asia presents a unique set of challenges and opportunities. And to navigate this complex landscape, the company will need to understand how things work. The Asian market is far from monolithic. Regulatory environments, cultural nuances, and even technological infrastructure vary greatly between countries, so Palantir needs to take a localized approach, tailoring its offerings and messaging to resonate with each specific market. This might even involve building partnerships with local companies familiar with the regulatory landscape and cultural sensitivities. Now, speaking of regulations, data privacy is a critical issue in many Asian countries, so Palantir will need to demonstrate a strong commitment to data security and compliance with local regulations. Transparency about data handling practices and robust encryption protocols will also be essential to building trust with potential customers. Now, you may ask, what about target markets? Well, while government agencies have been Palantir's partners for quite some time, the commercial sector in Asia is booming. There's a vast potential customer base in industries like finance, manufacturing, and logistics, all hungry for insights to optimize operations and gain a competitive edge. This means that Palantir needs to showcase success stories from similar companies in other regions in order for it to demonstrate the value proposition of Foundry in the Asian context. It goes without saying that Asia's booming digital economy, focus on innovation, and growing security concerns create a perfect opportunity for Palantir's data analysis expertise. So, by offering a platform that can help organizations unlock the hidden value of their data, Palantir is well positioned to carve out a significant niche in this dynamic market. And as Asia continues to grow and evolve, Palantir's ability to adapt and cater to its specific needs will be the key to unlocking its full potential in the region. So, what do you think about Palantir's latest partnerships? Can the company successfully expand further into Asia? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. If you would like to know what Palantir has been up to these past few days, then go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.